2022 meeting of the Parker Planning Commission to order at 7 p.m. Let's please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Roll call. Absent is Kim, Rich, and Eric. Roxy is seated for Rich. Nick is seated for Kim. And we have a quorum. All right. Are there any additions to or deletions from the agenda?
No, sir, there are not.
Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes from the April 14th, 2022 meeting?
No. None from me.
No.
Okay. No. We have a motion.
I motion we approve the Planning Commission meeting minutes of April 14th, 2022.
I second.
It's been moved by Ileana, seconded by Ruth Ann, that we approve the Planning Commission meeting minutes from April 14th, 2022. I'll call the question. Ileana?
Aye.
Roxy?
Aye.
Ruth Ann?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Chair is aye. Passes unanimously. All right. Item number 6, a public hearing. The Auburn Hills Center filing number 1 minor development plat. And we will open the public hearing at 7:01. Julia?
Good evening, Chairman. Good evening, Commissioners. It's been a while since I've seen you all, so good evening. This evening, the applicant is requesting a minor development plat, which will subdivide a 5.053-acre property located at the southwest corner of Main Street and Jordan Road into 5 lots for future development. The subject area is bounded on the north by Main Street, to the east by Jordan Road, to the west by East Auburn Hills Drive, and to the south by Cedar Gulch Parkway. The area, including the cluster residential development to the immediate west, is designated neighborhood commercial. To the north of the project site and across Main Street is a single-family residential subdivision. The zoning for the property, the Bradbury Ranch PD, designates the property as neighborhood commercial. The subject property was annexed into the town in June 1987 with a planned development zoning. The zoning for the property, again, designates the property as neighborhood commercial. The proposed minor development plat application, known as Auburn Hills Center, consists of a parcel of land that is approximately 5.053 acres. The proposal consists of 5 commercial lots and internal private roadways and utilizes utilities to serve each of the lots. Lot 1 is 1.294 acres, Lot 2 is 0.552 acres, Lot 3 is 0.6 acres, Lot 4 is 1.59 acres, and Lot 5 is 1.01 acres in size. Access will be on the west side of the property on Auburn Hills Drive. A second access will be on the south side of the property with full movement access. All future development will require site plan approval. The project also proposes a vacation of a portion of the excess right-of-way along Jordan Road. The applicant is providing a 5-foot sidewalk around the perimeter of the site, as well as along the internal access drive aisles. In addition, and consistent with the town's development design standards, the applicant is providing an 8-foot tree lawn along the public and private right-of-ways. The tree lawn meets the town's municipal code by providing 1 tree per 30 linear feet of street frontage along Main Street and 1 per 40 along all the other street frontages. All additional requirements, including building setbacks, architecture, landscaping, and design, will be reviewed as part of future site plan approvals, or applications, rather. Staff has reviewed the proposal and has determined that the project is consistent with the master plan. All platting requirements of the Bradbury Ranch Third Amendment Plan Development and Land Development Ordinance have been satisfied. The proposal provides adequate access, infrastructure, drainage facilities, and design considerations, and utility providers have confirmed capacity and availability, and all referral agency comments have been addressed. The public notice requirements have also been satisfied. Therefore, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission recommend to Town Council approve the Auburn Hills Center filing number 1 minor development plat. This concludes staff's report. The applicant's representative, I believe, is here tonight and available to answer any questions you may have.
Do we have questions for Julia first?
I have no questions.
None for me.
I do. Excuse me. So, Julia, you quickly mentioned excess right-of-way that's going to be used. I didn't see that exactly called out. Can you show us where that's at exactly, or?
So, yes, it's on, I don't know which slide, but it might be on the second to last slide. It's approximately 0.5 acres, and it's being sold to the town, or the town is selling it to the applicant. It's excess. Jordan Road's completely built out. Because it's unplatted and not constructed, the decision maker for that vacation is town council, so that's why it wasn't spoken to in depth here this evening. I think the subdivision improvement agreement, a third-party consultant evaluated how much that right-of-way was valued at, and that amount, which I believe is $168,000, will be provided to the town as part of the vacation.
Okay, that answered my next question, which was, did you figure out the compensation? So, good.
And it's that swath of land that's immediately to the west of Jordan Road that runs north and south along the property line. And it's called out on the plat. It says will be vacated
Okay.
by ordinance.
If I had better eyes, I could probably read it. Okay. And then, I think I also saw there's going to be a traffic signal put in?
Yes, and that's also part of the subdivision improvement agreement, and that is, the money to put that improvement in is part of that agreement and paid for by the applicant.
And that'll allow a left turn onto Cedar Gulch?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
No further questions for me.
Do we have any questions for the applicant?
No.
Okay. Then, as this is a public hearing, we like to take comments from the public regarding this item. And so if you have a comment on this particular item before us tonight, please step to the podium, or if you're on the Zoom feature, use the raise your hand part of the Zoom, and we will take public comment. Yes, sir.
Good
Please
evening.
state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
My name is Dennis Stull, 16741 East Auburn Hills Drive, due west of the parcel in question. I'm just curious what has been done, at least to this point, in terms of assessing the impact on the neighborhoods. I mean, it's a fairly high density area where we live in townhomes, and one of the exits would come out practically in my front yard. I'm the last house right next to this thing, and I'm just curious what will be done to ameliorate any impact on the neighborhood, the human impact.
Okay. And we'll address those questions when we get all of the comments and we address them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
My name is Joanne Pulse, P-U-L-S, and I live at 16739 East Auburn Hills Drive, and I am directly west of the area in question for development. And my concern is traffic. We have excess traffic due to the school, Prairie Crossing. They use Bradbury Hills, turn on Main Street. They use our access road where we drive. They also use Cedar Gulch. And I have been stuck in the crossroads of Main Street and Jordan more than I really anticipate saying. It's bumper to bumper for at least an hour and a half. That's because of after school, traffic. Then, in addition, we're having people going home. The traffic is a big thing. I see so many issues that need to be addressed and wonder about this high area, what you're going to be putting in there. If you put in a gas station, you don't have any, I don't know if you have any control over it, I can't answer that, but I do know it will impact our neighborhood, and it'll impact, a study needs to be done, definitely, as far as the traffic, what needs to be done. I've checked the website where this project is, and an engineer was saying something about 30 miles an hour. Well, Cedar Gulch is like a half a block from us, and I can understand that's already being proposed to put a light there. What is going to happen when we have all these cars coming from the school trying to get in onto Main? And that's what we see every day. And then along with it, I'm more concerned on how fast we are moving as far as development. We already know that there's a certain amount of people coming to the county, and do we need to slow the growth? Because what we're finding out is when you see reports of water issues and the possibility of buying water from northern other areas, other aquifers, and they are already low, we're not really helping each other when we do that. And we're affecting the farmers and the ranchers. And I came from Kansas, and I just know what it was like when it came to water rights and how big of a deal it was to even get that flowing to us. So I'm concerned about the traffic. I'm concerned about the growth. And I think it really needs to be looked at more carefully. Sometimes it's just better to sit back and take a breath. We're developing too fast. We're making decisions that is going to affect more than just our lives. And I know it's important for growth, but at what cost is what I'm saying.
Okay,
So,
time's up, please.
pardon?
Time's up, please.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize
That's right.
that.
Thank you. Any hands raised?
If you are on Zoom and would like to speak, please raise your hand. No hands.
Okay. Then we will close the public comment part of the meeting. Julia, does the public outreach come with, when they start to more the site plan and that kind of thing?
So this was publicly noticed. There's a physical posting on the site as well as a mailing to adjacent neighbors. There could be, we always encourage applicants to do community outreach through the site plan approval process. Through that process, too, a traffic impact analysis would be required. And at that time, the use, the size, the capacity of the building would dictate if there's any increases above traffic impacts that are already existent and whatever mitigation measures may be needed. There was the evaluation by the engineering department for that signal on Cedar Gulch. So that'll be a part of this improvement, but there are future traffic impact analyses that'll be done through the site plan approval process. And if for community outreach, that'll happen. We encourage the applicant to do that through the site plan process.
Because at this point, there's really nothing, I mean, they're just subdividing the lots. There's nothing planned on those lots.
There's been one application submitted for a site plan for a gas station. That has just been received and is out for its first referral. We're analyzing the project for consistency with code, design standards, engineering, Parker Water Sanitation District, our engineering department, and all of that.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Julia, will there be a separate traffic impact study done for each of the pieces of property that gets developed? So every time another application comes through for another one of these parcels, will there be another traffic study done?
Our engineering department looks at what's being proposed and either requires a new study or a traffic conformance letter that shows consistency with perhaps a previously done traffic study. So yes.
And in your experience, the size of the parcels, what types of businesses are coming into those types of parcels? that would have what kind of traffic flow?
So we did require a lot fit analysis with this submittal to show potential building footprints. The uses weren't so much specified other than building footprints for, a 5,000 square foot building, a 6,000 square foot building, what would fit on each of those lots, which range sort of from, I believe, a half an acre to a little bit over an acre.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions for?
None from me.
This is more for Bryce. I seem to recall the issue about the traffic from Prairie Crossing coming up previously. Has it not, or am I misremembering?
I think you're thinking back to the rezoning, where there was a proposal to put residential on the southerly one of these commercial properties.
Okay.
Must have been 4 years ago.
Okay. I thought that had been discussed before, and I thought somebody was going to, I think from the traffic department, reach out to the school and see if there was anything that could be done.
Yeah, our traffic department certainly does work with the schools. I don't know when the last time, or if they've recently had a conversation with Prairie Crossing. We certainly can share that with them.
I mean, if traffic's being blocked at Main and Jordan, I think this is a safety issue that should really be looked into. Maybe it should be moved up the pile.
And, the issue of water is certainly something I don't disagree with, yet the town has no control over the water. We do not have it's the Parker Water and Sanitation, which is a separate governmental entity altogether, and if a project comes before us and they say they have the capacity, it is not within our purview to disagree with them and say, no, you don't, because we don't know that for certain. I mean, it's a finite resource. I get that, and I take your point. But again, that's not within our purview here. Do we have anything else we want to ask Julia or the applicant?
No.
Okay, then we will close the public hearing at 7:17. Commissioner discussion.
I'll start. I support this because it is simply saying that we're going to carve up the property for separate uses in this particular way. I think that the comments by the public regarding water are a valid concern and something that we need to continue to look at, especially as climate change begins to impact us. I don't know what we as a planning commission or as the town of Parker can do to ensure that Parker Water and Sand is taking into account any changing conditions that might be occurring. But that's something that I certainly hope, and I would expect them to, because they are a professional organization, professional governmental body. As for traffic, constant concern, and this, I'm not sure why we ever gave up school buses, but the need for every child to have a private ride to the school lends itself to these kinds of issues, and there may be other solutions outside the purview of traffic calming, maybe carpooling, something like that. But that's not, again, not something that affects this particular developmental plat at this time. So I will support this, but the concerns are noted and understood.
I'm going to wholeheartedly agree with my fellow commissioner, and I also want to make sure that as we move this forward, there is further traffic impact.
Yeah.
Surveys done, and that the applicant really has a responsibility to go out to the community and hear what the community has to say, because if you don't, I have a tendency to, from my perspective, and it's an objective one, that you're just moving along and not wanting to do that. And the people of Parker really do care what happens here.
No, I agree. I'll support this project, again, just because it's subdividing the current plat of land. I look forward to other projects in the pipeline and looking at traffic studies a bit closer when we have an actual, brick and mortar applicant in the pipeline, and kind of taking the next step to look at things closer and what the usage might be.
And of course, I didn't go soon enough, so they've stolen all the comments that I had. But I do agree. There you go. I was going to say, I want to also emphasize the importance of the community outreach. As our speaker earlier, Mr. Stoll, was asking for impact, there's questions. The neighborhood folks are going to have questions. Anyone in the town of Parker might have questions on the impact. However, I don't know that there's a generic impact study that can be done. Yeah, no, that's fine, but I understand, and that I think is a great forum for the community outreach. So they can, bring up the questions that can be discussed, and that way the applicant has an opportunity to explain or hear input and maybe make changes to their plans. So I find that to be an absolute necessity in the town of Parker. Traffic studies, of course, very big concern, and I can't express as much as they've already expressed. I cannot express anymore. So I am in favor of this, and I will, because it is just subdividing the plat there. But as Nick said, I am looking forward to the future of this development and see what they do come up with.
Well, as a former elementary principal in this school district, I could talk to you for hours about busing and why people drive their kids to school, but we don't really have a couple hours that I could go through that litany. I used to have parents who would back out of their driveway, back down to the school, and then drive back home. But I digress. And again, the school district, if the issue is the school, and I realize there's other traffic out there, but if the issue is the school, well, that needs to be addressed at that level. And it's not the developer's fault. It's not the people that are going to develop this property. It's not their fault that the school is creating a problem. So that's kind of where that discussion, I think, needs to land. And I certainly am in support of this. It's a pretty straightforward property that's been on the books since 1987. It's probably time that something be done with that. So anyway, do we have a motion?
I move the Planning Commission recommend Town Council approve the Auburn Hills Center filing number 1 minor development plat.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Ruth Ann, seconded by Nick, that Planning Commission recommend Town Council approve the Auburn Hills Center filing number 1 minor development plat. And I'll call the question. Ileana?
Aye.
Roxy?
Aye.
Ruth Ann?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Chair is aye. Passes unanimously. Any staff items, Bryce?
No, sir, there are not.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I motion we adjourn the meeting of April 28th, 2022 at 7:22 PM.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Ileana and seconded by Roxy that we adjourn. And so we'll have the vote. Ileana?
Aye.
Roxy?
Aye.
Aye.
Ruth Ann? Nick?
Aye.
Chair's aye. Unanimously, we get to adjourn. We would have had to